This is the theme song for the live stream of consciousness. You've got to ask yourself whether reality is a dream or if you are dreaming reality. We are all a part of the answer to the meaning of it all. Come in and join us for the moment we call now. Rise up, join in, raise the whole vibration. You are the master of reality's creation.
Yes, you are the master of your own creation. You can create your own reality. I know there's a reality around you that you got to be a part of, but you can also be a part of it the way that you want to be a part of it. That's what creating your reality is all about. Anyway, it is Thursday. It is July 23rd. You have arrived at the transmission called the Live Stream of Consciousness. This is my place on the internet to set an intention for an hour each week to have an amazing conversation and share it with people who are willing to receive, people who are willing to share, sharing a puzzle piece for you guys to see. Today I happen to be sharing one I've shared before, but that doesn't matter. We get to see the puzzle become clearer. It's our happy place. That's right, Ninja Kitty. Good to see you out there. Good to see you, Scott Pace. Aho. Good to see you. Who else did I see? Mia My Shadow filling up the front row here. I love it. Arnie Layton, beautiful to see you as well. Who else do we have here? I think that's all we got right now. That's enough to get it started. It's good to see everybody. I just had to run over a second ago and grab my co-host Sage over here. I didn't want to forget the 3 breaths. It's so cool that I watch a lot of stuff, different podcasts, and I'm seeing the 3 breaths show up other places. Other people are honoring the breath, connecting to the breath with intention, and I think the 3 breaths is so cool because it's like really doesn't take a lot of commitment. It literally takes 60 seconds. So again, without babbling too much, the 3 breaths is about paying attention to your breath, because all day long you're breathing. It's what keeps you alive. So it's pretty important, but we don't really pay attention to it. It just happens. So I feel like paying attention to it, honoring it, really feeling it come into your body through your nose as you breathe in. See, as I even say it out loud and I feel it come into my lungs, it's just a different experience than what's happening all day long. So let's pay attention to our breath as we breathe in and out. When you breathe out, just let it go, just relax, just sink into your chair, and that will set the intention for the next hour. So here we go with Sage. Again, I know there's been some issues with the sound ducking out, so I'll do my best to share the sound with you. All right, breathe in through your nose and hold it for a second, and then feel it release. One more time, breathe in through your nose. Sage is getting nice and loud over here, and then release. All right, one more time. Last breath in through the nose. Really feel it fill you up. And then just release it. Feel your blood start to flow. Feel it move. You can feel the physiological effects of it. It's like getting high without getting high. It's like getting high on life. Breathing is fundamental. All right. Sorry, I put down Sage before she was done. I don't usually do that, but Sage understands. Anyway, here we are. It is Thursday. The summer is cooking right along. I can't even believe that it's July 23rd already. But I have a cool guest on my show tonight that's been here before. She is an artist. She is involved with special education and kids and kind of, special needs. And she's just an amazing soul. She has a show. She has her own YouTube channel, AllyKatKreations211. And she goes live very often and stays live for like a few hours at a time and just shows up. What I like about Allie is that she just shows up to her show to do her thing. Sometimes she's doing art, sometimes she's talking about a specific topic. She's just hanging out with her community. It's all about community. I think that's really, really important these days, and it's amazing to see people creating communities and sustaining communities with this platform, right? Because I'm here on Long Island and everybody else is spread around the world, and that's just, I think that's so cool. So I always thank you guys for showing up and being here and spending your energy and your intention with us. All right, did anybody else show up that I did not acknowledge? I don't know. I saw Mary J show up. What's up, Mary J? Haven't seen you in a while. Kay Weezy is here. Good to see Kay Weezy. I see Lunar Sunray here. Also good to see you. Wonderful, wonderful. See, we're building a community. Thank you guys for showing up and being here. I think you're going to enjoy my guest tonight. She's got a great personality. She's got a great perspective of reality and what's going on, or at least I think so. We subscribe to a lot of the same magazines, not magazines, but you know what I mean. We subscribe to a lot of the same essence, the same philosophies in life. So welcome back to the live stream of consciousness, returning champion, Allie Kat. What's up, Allie?
Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's always good to see you sitting in your library. It's like your little witch's den.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. So how have you been?
I just had new windows put into my house.
Oh yeah, I did follow that adventure on Facebook a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, now the house is coming back together, doing a Zen flow,
Awesome.
changing things up, and I could breathe.
Awesome. That's great to hear. You also told me that you're on a little bit of a vacation, I guess, because you're kind of tied to like a school year. Is that?
Yes.
So you got a summer vacation happening. Very
it's
cool.
not really vacating because my car is dead. So I'm making the best out of a junky situation and just catching up on meditating, going with it.
Okay. I think that's cool. That's important. I actually wish sometimes I'm like, man, I used to do it a week. I guess I meditate in my own way daily, right? Like, you know, when I'm going to bed, I kind of put myself in a certain mindset. I put on binaural beats or some theta waves or whatever the music is, and I get myself into a meditative state to go to sleep. Now, that's not quite meditating. I think I would love to get into a practice where I meditate first thing in the morning, right, and get myself mentally kind of prepared for the day, energetically. But what I was going to say was I did have a practice where weekly Sundays I was going to a friend of mine who was the guy who got me into meditation, and it was a group meditation, and it was always just an amazing experience because there was sharing afterwards. People would share what they experienced. So it was really cool to hear, how different meditation was for everybody, even though there was a similarity and the stories were similar. You know, you always hear people when you talk about meditation and you tell people you meditate, what's the first thing they say? Oh, I can't meditate. You know what I mean? My brain is just, it doesn't shut off. Right. And I think that that's not what meditation is about. I think meditation is more about turning it on and taking in everything at once, and then just kind of being able to be in the flow. I don't know.
It's focused.
Yeah, focused. Exactly. So cool. I'm glad that you're having some time to meditate. What is Arnie saying? That was Steve Michael, correct? I don't know what that is. I do see Kim Princess out there. So I've been trying to pay a little bit more attention to the audience because they're a big part of the show. You know how everybody brings their energy here. So I want to, right, exactly. Oh, you know what? And I've got this cool thing on my computer where I do hand gestures and I get cool things like that. And I see Jennifer McCormick out there Also from the Sacred Spiral Network. Let me give a shout out to the Sacred Spiral Network, an amazing network. Also, since we're talking about community, of people who just are like-minded, who love to get together, virtually, because I feel like we're all connected, right? So it's just a way for us to, hey, I'm going to connect with Allie because she's on her show right now, and I could just be working on my computer, and you're over to the right, just like talking to the community, and it's almost like we're hanging out. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. I love that. Oh, Kim Princess loves the balloons. I think the balloons are the 2 peace signs. Let me see. Oh no, that's confetti. It's the 1 peace sign is the balloons. There we go. Kim, that's for you, Kim Princess. She loves the balloons. Anyway, I want to hold a little bit of space for you, even though this is not my other show holding space. But I did invite you on the show because I just wanted to kind of celebrate you and who you are and your commitment to your authenticity, of yourself, of what you're doing, of your mission on this earth, right? In this go around, I think you're really connected to it. You know what I mean? And I think that those are the people who I connect to, who realize, like, okay, I'm on this earth in this go around, and I'm gonna make the best of me out of it. And I think that's what you're here to do. So why don't you tell my audience exactly who you are and what you do?
I am Alison, aka AllyKat, because that's my name literally shortened. I lived in New York City. I lived in Staten Island for 39 years and moved out here to Indiana, Northwest, not far from Chicago, 3 years ago. I lived on a Stargate. I closed that little junker up for a little bit.
Wait, hold on. Let's stop there. What does that mean exactly?
So we have Stargates around the world, and one of the places that I was ordained and orchestrated in my soul contract to be was my house in Staten Island.
Oh. And
that happened to be a Stargate, as a minor, not a big, ginormous one, but a small Stargate.
Okay. And I'm imagining a Stargate is some sort of portal. Is it a dimensional? I mean, I'm not 100% familiar, so I want to
happen to be a void of space where it's like a wormhole highway.
Okay.
So it takes you to specific locations. I never went through it, but I know what came out of it. And some of it was good and some of it was not so good.
Interesting. And so what I'm getting from what you're saying is kind of, it was your place to be at that place at that time to close that Stargate because it wasn't supposed to be open, or it was time for it to be closed.
It was time for it to be closed. I was holding the frequency my whole life.
Wow.
And when I found out it was a Stargate, my whole life started making sense. And then moving out here without all the interference waves going on over in New York, I was able to get deeper into my mission.
Interesting. Okay, this is interesting. This is getting good. So how did you know you were in the presence of a Stargate? Well, like what connected you to that whole bigger picture of existence outside of, being a human being?
Seeing things that no one else could see around me, not to say that other people can't see, but in my proximity, my locality, I saw the extraterrestrials, I'll just call them that. We don't know if they're trans-dimensional beings, but they were coming through. Obviously, our lovely departed, transcended souls, and not so nice thought forms that have come through. And as a child, my frequency held everything back. It's like Ghostbusters. Once it overcharged, here comes Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Wow, so, interesting. And it's interesting that the way that you're talking about it, because as I was saying, we subscribe to a lot of the same things, and I feel like all of the things you're talking about are connected, right? Because I think they're all different ways that we can use language, which is very limiting, to describe these things, right, that all may have these similar properties that are otherworldly, right? Like, again, just kind of beyond our language and beyond our, almost beyond our comprehension, when it comes to the 3D, right? Obviously not beyond the other parts of our comprehension that are connected outside of that.
Well, they haven't figured energy out in all its forms, so that's all it is.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, there's a lot of talk in this community about things like telekinesis, you know, kind of coming back, and we already see, you know, you even said it, you put it as the energy that is our past ones, right? That's that spirit realm, that particular definition that we're talking about. We've definitely seen a lot of people coming out and realizing their connection to that frequency and being able to receive and transmit, you know, from a whole different bandwidth, a whole different wave, right, on the spectrum. So what do you think is happening? What do you think is going on with that? I mean, how far will our bandwidth expand?
It all depends on you at home and everybody watching. You are a radio tower. You have to be anchored in your light, your truth, and your authenticity. And you are a receiver and a transmitter of frequency and resonance. If you have things in your program, just think about the best radio station you listen to and you're jamming and you're happy. But then, you know, you turn the dial, you want to hear something different, and they're static. This is where a lot of humanity is sitting in right now because they haven't gone in to do the balancing act of I'm both positive and negative. Right now, I'm sitting in my shadow aspect. My shadow is coming out to play to balance itself out with the light. It does this. I go in waves. But getting back to the radio tower, getting out of lack, getting out of fear, getting out of guilt and shame and blame will get your frequency less staticky. And the more that you tune into your own self and you create your harmony, you're going to be broadcasting better conscious expansion, where then the truth expands. And then you'll see things for a higher degree of level of density and dimension, which we're shifting to 4, where the classical mathematics and physics we're seeing it in our 3D world to fizzle out. It's decohering. We're coming into the quantum age.
Yeah, it is interesting that we're seeing a lot of foundational ideas kind of becoming undone. You know what I mean? And the idea of the quantum realm, even, you know, even that we're talking about it in the mainstream is, I think, amazing. And I don't think people realize, you know, the breadth of what that means and how that will affect reality. But I think it doesn't matter because we'll all find out. It's all happening, right? It's all.
Most people are now finding themselves understanding a little deeper without even the people that are not into spirituality. They're starting to see their mindset shift without them doing the work. Their subconscious is doing a lot of the work for them. Some of us are consciously aware of the work that we need to do. More people are waking up. More people are becoming aware of these dichotomies and these paradoxes happening, and more people are starting to sink and go within and question self.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Arnie says you're speaking his lingo. So I know Arnie is very specific with his energy at the moment. And you know what? It's interesting to me because I'm watching Arnie and I'm having my own response, right? And because I have my own lens, right? I perceive things from my own lens, and I'm just like, okay, there's a mismatch in transmission, right? And Arnie is my brother. I love Arnie to death. Arnie is an amazing soul, and so I kind of don't say anything because I know that I subscribe to a lot of the same things that Arnie also subscribes to. So let's even talk about that, right? Let's talk about good and evil, right? Because you just mentioned something about being in some sort of shadow phase, right?
Yes.
So I believe that in this three-dimensional existence, good and evil are two sides of the coin of reality, right? So even though they're completely opposite, they're still essential to be connected to each other.
Yes.
And I think that that's, for me, that's a little bit of the disconnect I have with the spirituality, what Arnie is recently calling the love and lighters, right? I it's interesting. I feel like he made up a name for it, but the disconnect that I feel there is this claim that the battle of good and evil, good will win, right? And like, I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense to me that good will win. Like, good will never vanquish evil in this realm. I think that when we go to other dimensions, there's a whole other definition of good and evil. They become part of the same thing, that they're not being judged as one is positive and one is negative. And you were talking about that also earlier, right? That positive and negative charge. You need that to make electricity. Tommy Chong was on this show and said, you need the positive and the negative to make the electricity.
It's contrast.
It's the contrast.
Yeah. Contrast. If you're all in the light, you're blinding. If you're all in the dark, you can't see the light. So you need a balance.
Also blind. Yeah.
You need to be neutral. This is where I it's not a coin for me, but I practice divine neutrality, because I'm aware there is negative, evil, and then there's different, like those 50 shades of gray. There's 50 shades of all of it.
Sure.
And then there's the light side. I started getting upset because I'm seeing, especially on the politics side, the light is not really serving its purpose. It's false light, in my opinion. And then the dark, some of those people were born into only knowing that. Mm-hmm. So from their perspective, they don't know any different, and they think their perspective is correct because that's all they know.
Right.
So for thou not judge, I sit neutral in the middle, because in 4, 5, 6, you're seeing the bigger picture. You're seeing, if you take the eagle eye view, why people are making moves. And then detachment. It's all for your soul growth and experience. We all chose to come here to have experience. Now I'm the devil in people's story. I did something to catalyze an event to change them. So does that make me an evil person, or is it my intent of my heart that I'm a good person? Mm-hmm. I needed to get something across to a person that I signed up to, just like other people have done for me.
Right.
And that's the forgive, release, and let go dynamic.
Totally. Yeah, totally. It's interesting that you're saying that. We had a conversation recently, and I know for me in my life, one of the energies that I've been really aware of is this kind of connective energy, connecting people together, making connections. And here's a story where this is a connective energy, but it doesn't sound like it, right? So I was dating this girl. She was a makeup artist. Her name's Janine, and she was actually a catalyst for the Women of Armageddon. You've seen the Women of Armageddon calendar that I did years ago.
Yes.
So the Women of Armageddon was this idea that I had for a calendar that was a spoof on like Swimwear Illustrated. It was like Mad Max meets Victoria's Secret. Like what's going to happen to the girly calendar if the world ends? Like that was the spoof idea. And she was a brilliant makeup artist who helped me create that vision. But she was working at the makeup counter at Bloomingdale's in the mall. And she was an amazing woman. We had an amazing relationship, but it wasn't working out romantically. And when we broke up, she was really devastated. And and was like, I gotta go. And she decided to move to New Mexico. She just wanted to get away. She had some family there and decided to move there. She ended up getting in the movie actors makeup union and working with Christopher Lloyd, and just some like amazing people. And her whole life shifted for the better. And I felt cosmically like that was my role, like to get her to a better place.
Yes.
And that's just one of many experiences that I've had like that, where, you know, some sort of interaction that I've had with someone led to something that
Mhm.
made that person's life in the direction that it obviously should have been, you know, which is kind of cool. I think that's an interesting thing to observe, and also to kind of sit back, you know, and kind of get out of the ego, you know, and not be so personally connected to it. Be like, okay, here's the bigger picture, which is pretty cool. And I saw Kim Princess said she wanted to be Arnie's sister, and Arnie said, we're all brothers and sisters.
We are.
And Kim said, I knew you were going to say that. You must be psychic. There's entertainment going on in the chat room, folks. Thank you, guys. I love that.
Promote it. I'm always asking on my channel, what do you guys make for dinner? Because I get emails from people. Thank you so much for asking that. It helped me. Like when you have a mate or partner that cannot decide, they go to my chat and they're like, well, that sounds really good. Let's go.
Totally. I see David Ferdinand out there. Thanks for coming, David. He was a guest on the show. David, I believe, if I remember David's story correctly, David was actually running for president. And David has an island that he runs by himself, which is awesome. I got to go back and I got to look at David's episode. But David is saying net weaving, that connective energy. Yeah. And you know, again, just kind of knowing that as kind of one of my superpowers, right? Or this vibe. And this age, for me, again, I know there's a lot of opinions out there about what the heck is going on with the world, but I believe we are starting to realize that we are all connected, and that it's not, you know, I think in the past it was a choice. It's still a choice, right? But I think the choice is we're all in this together, or every man for himself. And I think now it's like do or die, right? Like make your choice. And I think we're all in this together is obviously the live stream of consciousness choice, and the world that I'm going to, and every man for himself is going to manifest itself somewhere outside of my frequency. And I think that's what's happening. What say you?
We're all bridging. Most of us, I mean, every soul comes for a different purpose, but some of us came down to be a bridge. You're not going anywhere. What happens is you're creating a frequency in your locality. That's where you're living. And you're only bringing in people of high vibration that matches your wavelength. Let's just say high school graduation, you were with these people for 4 years, you did all this stuff, there's different cliques, different groups, and then you decided to do something, move, go somewhere. You're out of that locality now, but those people don't disappear.
Mm-hmm.
They disappear from your locality.
Okay.
You go on social media and Johnny had a kid, great, right? But they're not physically present with you. That's your locality.
Right.
So the split and this divide, Dolores Cannon talks about it. It's not so much that people are going to disappear. They're just not going to be in your purview because you're focused on your vibration, your reality.
Yeah. I like that explanation, and thank you for that. I think that's an important thing. That I always did kind of struggle when people were like, oh, the 3D and the 5D, and Arnie always talks about, well, where's the 4D? And the way it's described, again, language is the trap, right? And people are trying to like make sense out of it, which again, I have compassion for that, right? I'm like, okay, if that's the way you feel and that's the way you need to see it, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you, right? I mean, that's part of my vibration, right? And where I want to be and my frequency and what I want to be around is that. So that's what I choose. Does that
Right.
make sense?
I choose to say that there's no right and wrong because everybody's perception has validity to it. And
100%.
until there is a materialistic experiment or proof that is tangible for the eye to see, and it's not some falsehood, just like flat earth and globe earth is a perfect dichotomy. You can believe in flat earth, I can believe in globe earth, but we're in the same proximity, viewing the same thing. Our realities are a little shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you wrong or right? We're both conscious, we're living, we're breathing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just a matter of perception.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that too. And I just actually recently re-released my conversation with Flat Earth Dave,
I love him.
because it was just such a great conversation. And there is a part of me that's like, that understands a lot of that perspective. And I think that's all that is needed is just that little bit of understanding to say, okay, I do have my beliefs.
Yes.
But your beliefs are valid. You just said it. And I think that has been the basis of this show and me even coming and doing these kind of interviews. One of the I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. When I first started the show with Jesse Blaze, we had this listener, this girl Courtney, who was like from the Midwest, and she reached out to me and she said, "Hey, I want to do a show, called The Strange and something. I forget what she called it. Strange and I don't know, something. It wasn't a positive thing. It was strange and weird or something like that. And the reason she wanted to do the show is because of her own lifestyle that she felt was a little bit strange and outside of other people's lifestyle, and she wanted to be accepted, right? And again, she told me that she has a relationship with a doll. Okay, so she had a life-size doll that she said she had a relationship with. And when she told me that, my response was not like, "You weirdo." My response was like, "That's interesting. Like, what does that mean? Like, how does that work? What, like, you obviously have feelings, right?" So like, I was just curious about it. So she told me about that whole thing, right? And that there's a community of people called dollies or whatever they're called, I forget, that live that kind of life. She also has a human boyfriend who understood that, and accepted her for who she was. So I said, let's call the show Strange and Wonderful. And the show became Strange and Wonderful. And the first and she wanted me to be the co-host, just the same way that I was the co-host for Jessie, because I never wanted to be in front of the camera. It made her feel comfortable. So I co-hosted the show with her. And the first guest we had was from her doll community, but it was a trans woman who had a relationship with a doll. So on top of it, it was like more stuff that was just like, people were just going to be like, wait, what? And again, for me, the draw was so like, I just felt such a loving draw to like, I want to know who you are. Tell me, what is life? What does that mean? What is life like? Like, how did you become trans? Why? And there was abuse and there was a long story. We had an amazing talk, but I literally felt, Allison, my heart expanding as we were talking. I felt my mind expanding because I was accepting all of this. I was like so not judgmental, and it was just an amazing conversation. And that show for this girl, again, I talk about connecting. This girl went on to, she had like a speech impediment a little bit, and she was like working on public facing, talking. She ended up inviting on the show the creator of Roger Rabbit. She like had some amazing interviews because she was a cartoonist. She liked to draw cartoons. So she ended up using the show. We had an interview on that show with the Lizard Man, the guy that is tattooed from top to body with scales. He has all sorts of body modification. Again, another one of the most amazing conversations that I've ever had, because in speaking to him, I realized that he created his reality, and like for people to look at him and go, oh, what the hell's wrong with you? You're weird, or with this or that. Like he immediately like absolved himself from having to deal with any of those people because they immediately outed themselves. Like he's like, okay, you don't get me, you don't have to talk to me. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's brilliant. Like that is brilliant. You don't have to deal with a lot of the, you know, what's the right word? I don't want to say the wrong word. The you know, the mundanity, you know, the mundane vibrations of humanity. You know?
I met him in a tattoo convention when I was in the shops back in the day.
Yeah.
Really sweet.
Such a great guy. Again, we had such a great conversation. I gotta dig that one out and bring and post that one again, because that was really good stuff. Awesome. So I see Jamie Michelle. Hello, new here. Awesome. New on Earth. New to the show. This is just a place where we hang and we have an amazing conversation. Alison is amazing. Actually, let's talk about you, Alison, as an artist. And also, you know, I kind of did this description of the show about creativity and how creativity helps consciousness. And you work with kids and art and like art therapy, which I think is amazing. You have a website. I'm going to bring up your website, AllyKatKreations211, and you do all sorts of different kind of art, which I love. You know, like there's drawing, there's physical art, and I see you've been doing a lot of this cool resin stuff lately. Have you been playing with oh my god, what are they called? You are, obviously, I forget what the word is. Tell me.
The UV epoxy?
Yeah, but when you use the copper and there's a certain mixture, it's almost like a word. Organite. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think that is amazing. I started like learning about that, and I was just like amazed at, you know, the whole concept of it and how far back it went scientifically, you know, the whole study of what it was all about. And then I got some organite, and it's just cool energetically. I definitely, you know, I'm not like a crystal head, you know, who like gets all into crystals, but I have my set of crystals. I have crystals. I have this that I got from Kelly Talixin, which, you know, I just feel drawn to, and it just gives me energy, you know, every day. I feel like I hold it, I rub it in my fingers, and I'm just like, you know, intention. I know that crystals are very, very good with intention and holding intention and, you know, kind of carrying intention through. But so let's talk about your art. Let's how long have you been an artist? I'm going to imagine your whole life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. I create captivating sculptural paintings. One of the things, I'm going to just dump it in here. One of the things I love so much is this painting from your Facebook page. Tell us what we're looking at, because I feel like this is like, to me, like Alex Gray, like visionary art. Like you could look at this for hours and like just interpret it so many different ways.
When I went to college, I went to the School of Visual Arts in Manhattan. I graduated in 2005. I'm a hands-on crafted person. Like I can't, like the online stuff, like I'm okay with it, but I'm not a graphic designer. I'm more of a give me creative materials and I'll make something magical happen.
Yeah.
And I did my senior year. I took my studio and I put yarn on paper, and I spent hours doing this, and I made a whole room where you can trip out without being on a substance and just like, you know, have your eyes overwhelmed, your brain overwhelmed. And then someone was like, well, what happens if somebody has color blindness or has some sensitivity to that? I'm like, well, let me figure out how I can get something textural to pop out at you, but not be so overstimulating. And you know, this is stimulating. It's not as colorful as usually I go.
Okay. So you're talking about the first artwork you're talking about was 2D.
Yes.
Colorful. Right.
And so this one is installation foam on canvas, and I spray painted it with like chrome and put some matting on it.
I love it. I mean, I think I said this last time. It just kind of evokes so many different things, right? There's like, it evokes organic kind of feeling, and like, am I inside of something? Like almost like a medical image. But it also evokes like creatures swimming around in the mud, and like there's just so many things for me that this kind of stuff evokes. I had never really seen something like this. I thought that this piece was really good, in particular. Let's see what else we got here. So, and then is the resin something that you've been doing recently?
The last 10 years.
Okay, so that's not too recent, but okay. Awesome. Yeah, see, this one also, again, is like a whole different way of playing with it. Quantum AI and metaphysics. You have this image listed at, it doesn't, I thought it would open in a bigger one, but it doesn't. Oh, and here's some of the 2D stuff that you were talking about. Yeah. Very cool.
They're all oil paintings, and then I do drawings.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of things.
Yeah, I love it, and I feel like I'm a little envious, right? Because I got into the computer as a teenager, and kind of like a lot of my world became digital. But even art, I was able to find a lot of ways to express myself artistically, and I do photography and video too, which also kind of lends itself to the whole digital medium.
Yes.
But I love the physical medium. I went to Hartford Art School, and I learned how to make my own clay. Taking ceramics, we made our own clay, and the different properties when you put more iron ore in than this or that, like the different ways that it would fire and the different properties that it would have. It's amazing. Hands-on art is just really an amazing thing. So all right, so let's talk about this, because I thought this was pretty cool. Oh, and I do have one other picture to share, which is I think this is a booth of yours, or a consignment shop in a shop. Where is this?
It's in the library. Locally, they had a show that you have to get invited to, and they denied me. And then last minute, they said, "We have room for you."
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah, and it was one of my best-selling shows.
It was meant to be. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I see you've got some frames there with the texture, which is really cool.
That holds epoxy. So in those, I do floral epoxy.
Mm-hmm.
So I make the frame, I put the installation foam, and then I do either paint.
Oh yeah, right. It's a whole piece, right? I see. Yeah.
And then that's why it's sculptural painting. I
love it.
Painted, but there's also other elements in there, and it's epoxied.
I love it. Very, very unique stuff. Really, really cool. Very cool. Awesome. So I had been playing around with doing some vibe coding, and trying to vibe code some generative AI programs. One of them is called Wonder Words. And that is actually, you know what, I'm just going to type it in here. That is an application that allows you to create your own I gotta grab an API key. Hold on a second. I should not do this on the screen.
Yes.
So you need an API key to make it work. I'm just going to put one in here. But basically the idea that it started with was creating an ABC book for a young child learning ABCs. I remember ABC books kind of having, A would be angels all around, 3 words with A. And then that would kind of be the thing. And I said, well, what if, with AI, what if you could put in something specific that child likes, like Disney princesses or the movie Cars or whatever it is. You can upload a photo of that child, and then you can generate an ABC book very specific to that child that child would love to read. I thought that's where it started, and it evolved into teen stories and movie posters, and even doing coloring books. But Allison was awesome enough to help me beta test this, and she created some images in here. Tell us what you used here for the style of art.
When you were doing the test driving, I was so enthralled with, I really want to get into paper quilling.
Mm-hmm.
I like the tedious nonsense, but I'm also very much into neon signs. So I'm like, why can't we just combine those two together and add some kitty cat cosmic fun?
Yeah, that's totally awesome. I love it. And so, so you were, I guess, cats was the favorite thing, and then the art style was neon paper quilling.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool. So that was one of the images. I think I grabbed a couple here. Hold on a second. This is another one. Young yellow yowlers yawn. So cute. Very, very cool. And then let's see what else we got. Here was one where it was using your name. Alison always aids allies. And I think this one you had butterflies because there was a bunch of other images.
Yeah. I played around with a bunch of different ones.
Yeah, cozy cavities, comfort cocoons. And this is like a paper cutout style also. Like I love what you did. It's like it's so cool to see somebody else's vision through mine, you know, through the vision that I had of this program. And bright bubbles, beautify blue. So cool. Awesome stuff. Very cool. Let me hide that. Very cool. So you and Michelle, what's up, Michelle? Good to see you. Michelle says they look awesome. And I know Kim Princess has I have to get in touch with her because she did a painting that I want to buy from her. This evokes baby fetuses to me and saying, oh, so this is the image from earlier. And it's saying we're all connected before we get here. Oh, I love that. So I'm going to go back to this image.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. And that was, you know what? I didn't say that too, but also that, like when I guess when I said organic, right? I guess I was kind of thinking that as well. But yeah, I just feel like, yeah, we're all connected. What a great interpretation, Kim. I love that. Very, very cool. Impressive. Wonder word. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you for appreciating that. And let me ask you a question. I don't think I've ever seen you. Do you read tarot?
I do Oracle.
You do Oracle.
I have half of Arnie's decks underneath my desk, and over.
Let me ask you a question. Are you prepared and willing to do a reading for somebody in my audience? Some lucky.
Yeah.
And you could say no. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I do like to ask before I make you do it.
I can do that.
Okay, because I know. So I do want to say something first before I say this, right? Because I don't practice myself as a medium, but I do find myself to be somewhat intuitive. And Kay Weezy, who is a regular audience member over at the Sacred Spiral Network, also a regular member of my audience. Thank you, Kay Weezy, for always showing up. He's saying I would love a reading. So I'm just going to give you kind of some of my response to you and your energy, Kay Weezy, and then I'm going to ask Alison to kind of take over and give you a reading, right? Because I know some things about you. I know that you've lost some loved ones, and you're always asking about, if they're around, and I know you're always being assured that they are around you and they're looking for your highest good. You're always talking about your music career, which I would love to hear your music. I'm going to extend an invitation to you, Kay Weezy. If you want to come on the live stream of consciousness and share your music and who you are, I think my audience would enjoy it. I think that would be great. So you are cordially invited to reach out to me and be a guest. But what I do want to say to you as far as a reading, because you did ask specifically down here, let me see what you were I saw specifically you were asking you would love an oracle card. That's great. I know you're talking about your music, and again, like, there's no doubt, like it's not anybody who's going to give you a reading that's got to believe in it. It's you that's got to believe in it, and I know you do. So what I'm going to tell you to do is stop asking, because when you're asking, you're telling the universe that you don't know, and you got to know. And so I think
your answers are inside.
Yeah, I think that that's what you're waiting for, right? You're like, you keep asking because you're like, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? And my interpretation, again, I'm not a medical professional, this is not medical advice, but my interpretation is just do it. Just create your music. Come on my show. Let's play some of the music. You know, let's get it out there. That's my interpretation. So I would love an oracle. He's still there waiting. So let's pull an oracle card for Wheezy.
You have to, in 3D, before I even pull, I already pulled. You have to put action into motion to have a cause and effect. Also, here's the problem when people talk about manifestation. It's still coming from a place of lack because you do not have it. Instead, you are going in observation to another self in 0 point, meaning you're going to a menu option. What do you want in your life? What are the things you desire, your highest desire, and feel it. Feel it. Sit with it. Focus on it. Then, without a shadow of a doubt, you cannot doubt this. Because just if you come from a lack mindset, no matter what you put out into the field is going to give you more or less the same shit. Because you're coming from lack. I don't have it. I'm in survival mode. I'm in this. I'm in that. What in your heart space do you want that you cannot doubt yourself that you can get? And put action into motion to get those steps in, whether it be reaching out to people. Mm-hmm. Hey, like for my own self, I'm trying to get a coloring book that I already made the images myself. I'm just like, oh my God, Canva, you're driving me nuts. But eventually I am taking my time and I'm doing things on my own, on divine orchestration, on that pace. And the first card I pulled for you is retreat. You got retreat. It indicates it's a time to pull back from people and situations that don't empower or support you. Let go of anything or anyone that drains you. Protect yourself from the less than positive influences of your life. It's time to renew your energy, incubate your dreams for the future, make plans for tomorrow, but remember that this is a season of rest and recuperation. Winter is a time for replenishing your inner resources. Care for your body and your health. Spiritually, winter is a season of retreat and renewal. It's time to be still and take stock of your life and your future. Retreat, repair your body, items and relationships, examine your life and make adjustments as needed. Watch your nocturnal dreams, meditate, look for messages from spirit.
Love it. Yeah, totally. And I think you said something important there. I don't know, K-Weezy, if there's anybody in your life that is less than supportive, but again, like, don't give that energy, right? Like that is probably somehow affecting your belief in yourself, right? You're somehow like giving whatever they're saying some weight and saying, oh, maybe they're right. They're not right. You are right. You see that creating reality. You need to figure out what your reality is, and you need to create it. You need to be it. You need to behave as if it already is. Arnie is a great example. Arnie has been creating music that has been sitting on pieces of paper, lyrics for years, because he wasn't able to play, and now he's got some tools that are allowing him to create some music using his lyrics, and he's acting as if it is, because he's acting as if it already is. He's created a bunch of albums. He's created a whole persona with his band, the Mystic Wands, and that is it. That's what I'm talking about when I say create your own reality,
and do it unconventionally. We're trying to steer in a new direction, and we're not trying to allow the disdain of an industry, even though it was meant for good, at least in my eyes. It's meant to entertain. Find avenues even if you don't have the money or the backing. Just put something out there. You never know who will like it.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm also going to say this. I don't know, K-Weezy, what style musician you are, right? Like, I don't know if you are a studio musician who you're producing a lot of songs. I don't know if you're a live musician who likes to go and play out. But I will say, I personally, I mean, I'm a musician. I don't play right now currently in a band, but I have. And the energy around playing music live is so incredible. And all of the musician friends that I know now that go out and they just go to the local bars, they're not like famous. They're not trying to be famous because they're connected to that energy that they go to a place, they sing their songs, and people are joyous around them. People feel it, people love it. And you know, it's not an ego thing, it's a community vibration frequency thing that is just really amazing. So, you know, that's another thing I'm just going to say to you. Like, if that's something that you do, start just playing out. Don't worry about the response. Just do it because you love it, because that authenticity is what's going to come through and reach the people that you need to reach. So there you go. Awesome. Thank you for doing that pull. I love it. And hip hop and gospel rapper. Awesome. I want to hear this stuff, K-Weezy. Let's get you on my show. Reach out to me. All right. I don't know how to get in touch with you, but you reach out to me.
I'll be very popular in my area.
Yeah. So Alison, have you heard of the final theory called point zero absolute, the womb of zero? These four symbols are a master key, and the sequence is 0.00, then absolute.
Yes, I have.
What is it? Let's tell us about it. We've got something to talk about.
For me, it's the infinitude. It's the spark of the creation itself.
Okay. The infinitude. I haven't heard that.
Well, infinitude, because infinity and beyond is forever dragged out by Toy Story.
That's true. That is true.
But in my meditation, I'll go into the void, and I will go to that. I call it like the singular line where all of my selves exist. And then I will choose the one that I know I cannot doubt in self. I'm having the car that I need. I'm observing my reality. So I am observing that I'm going to find an amazing partner. I'm arriving at the reality in which I have a car. I'm arriving at the reality where I am financially abundant. I'm not putting now numbers and zeros, and I'm not being specific, because if I do, then I'm also confining that abundance from source.
Right. And expectations as well. Yeah. Interesting. I had a thought in my head. I want to try to process this correctly. You said something about being in a place of finding the right person, which I definitely understand, and I think everybody can relate to and understand what you're talking about. And for me, I feel like there's also, and I'm not in any way saying that you're not, but it's more of the thought of being the right person, right? So I always said, be the person you want to fall in love with. Don't look for the person you want to fall in love with. Be the person. And I'm not saying that you're looking or that you're not either one of those, right? I'm just throwing out alternate ways to perceive. I'm a big believer of, and I always try to kind of like really be intentional with my words, right? And how I'm saying something and how I'm expressing it, and even how I'm thinking it to myself. So that was just my response, because I think you're an amazing person, and I think, there's an amazing partner out there for you, for sure, no doubt.
Yeah, it's not easy when all I would like to do in my private life is talk about quantum physics and how it relates to spirituality, and it's not easy to find a person that understands my lifestyle, the art, the books, and then.
I'm going to agree and I'm going to disagree, because here we are talking to like at least 10 of them, 14 or 15, it looks like, in the numbers.
In my area. in my local.
All right, in your local area. But I guess what I'm saying is we're out here. You know, there are definitely your tribe, your people, our people. You know, we're out here, and it is an amazing time. Again, I think that there's a lot of, and this is kind of relates back to Arnie, right? And his perspective. There's a lot of non-critical thinking happening. But there's also a lot of critical thinking happening, and that's an amazing thing to see and to be a part of. Arnie, actually, you know what, Arnie, while I do got you on here, I want to recommend Arnie. I want to recommend. I had this guy on my show, Paul Everton. I think you were there. I think you saw Paul. I think you should look into Paul's Facebook page and his stuff, because he subscribes to a lot of the things that you subscribe to also, as far as like some of the really evil things that are going on in the world right now, which
the light that's going to expose a lot.
Yeah. And so I want to connect him with this guy, Paul, because I feel like, I'll message you him, because I think Paul was like this. He's like, if I ever ran into an Anunnaki, I'd have some things to say to him. He's like, but I also would probably hug him. And so it's just like this. It's not the love and lighters thing, but it's just kind of the idea of, hey, we got to exist. We got to coexist.
I was an Anunnaki and right concurrent. I believe everything's concurrently happening, just in different dimensions. I am an Anunnaki of high rank somewhere, and we all play both sides because we need experience. If you detach and understand your soul contracts and everybody else's, we can love on each other and bring this unity together.
That's what I'm thinking. That's totally what I'm thinking. Awesome. I love it. Alison, you're amazing. I love speaking to you, hanging out with you. If you want to hang out with Ally, her YouTube channel, AllyKatKreations211, she is often just hanging out and just talking and doing artwork. And just, again, I think it's the idea of you're just offering your vibe. You're just like, hey, if you want to bathe in my essence and not in a ego way at all, you know what I mean? Because I feel like sometimes we want to bathe in somebody's essence that makes us feel calm and comfortable and safe and trusted and all of those things. So thank you for coming here and sharing your essence. I appreciate it. Totally. Cool. You know what? It's been a lot of work for me. I know I had a couple of really cool guests where I could tell you guys ahead of time who's coming on the show. I don't know who's coming on the show next, but I'm trying to get Cody Blue on the show from Acid for Squares. He keeps promising me he'll come on, but they're blowing up all over the place. They just had David Greer on their show. Just like amazing. They're just like, they got everybody coming on their show, and in their studio in LA, they have a lot of the big people coming to use their studio to record stuff, which is, I'm just like, oh my God, I know that studio. And then I've been talking about Segi from the Paradigm Experience. I don't know if you've seen him, but he's a great guy who talks to AI and just like asks a lot of really philosophical questions and gets some really cool answers. So he's coming up on the show in the summer too. Jennifer, thank you for much love to everyone. Thank you for showing up. That show is awesome. Also, yes, it is. And Scott says thank you. Thank you, Scott, for being here. By the way, I'm going to just plug some things that I've got going on, if you don't mind, Ally, for a second. One of the things, let me bring it up here and show it on the screen. And so I've been doing some vibe coding, creating some spaces. I believe that community is important. I really want to create some community. Jesse Howell is a guy who had a show called The Missing Link for a long time. Very controversial stuff, amazing guests. But he also has this thing called the High Vibe Love Tribe, where he basically was doing like a live stream. He would get on, he would put on some dance music, he would be dancing. You could join him by, you know, putting your screen on and there'd be like 5 people on the screen all just dancing and doing exercise. It was really awesome. Like you watch and you're like, ooh, I want to do that. I want to do that. And you connect to it. So I created the High Vibe Love Tribe.com, High Vibe Love Tribe. It's free to sign up, and basically what it is, it's going to be different events. There's like a feed where, you know, people can do like a Facebook feed. There's going to be a live chat room, right? So there's a chat room that if you're logged into the website, you can chat. Now I know that there's Facebook and you can chat with your friends, but you can't chat with 10 of your friends in one room if they all happen to be in the same place. So it's, again, an idea for community. You're also going to be able to join with your camera. So there'll be like, you could have like 6 people all on a chat room, like a Zoom kind of call. Again, there's other technologies that do this, but I'm just bringing it all into one place. You get to have your own profile. I think Allison joined. Yeah, Allie is part of this. So you get to have your own profile, and then there's a guest book where you can talk to people. Again, it's similar to Facebook in a lot of ways, but it's its own kind of new thing as well. The High Vibe Love Tribe is one. Another thing I'm working on is a resource called My Own Essence, and this one I created for me because I don't really journal, but I want to journal. So this is a place where you can journal. Let me just go to the main page. I'm on the journal right now. It's a, I don't know if I can get back to the main page. I got to sign out. It's a place that has a journal. It's also a place that has a quiz. It kind of tells you what type of essence you have. There's a couple of different types of essences, and then based on that, it's going to give you prompts to journal. And so when you go to your journal, I'll go to the journal. Oh, now I got to sign in. When you go to the journal, it's a prompt journal. So you can actually have the journal email you every day and say, here's your prompt. And kind of, for me, that's a way to get me to go sign in and just dump some thoughts, right? Just start typing and do my journal. And then you can kind of look at your journal by days, and you can see I haven't been very consistent, but when I go in, I can go look at my journal for that day. So as a journal is also going to be the community, same kind of thing, where there's a thread and a chat room and live camera chat room. But this one is also going to have the library, which is going to be all sorts of resources, metaphysical resources, scientific resources, cool podcasts. So here's one of my favorite. This is meditations. Wayne Dyer was the first meditation I got into, the I Am meditation. So it's like a resource library for all of these different things. And then the other one is voices, and these are the different podcasts. There's Alex Ferrari, Next Level Soul. There's Segi, Acid for Squares, all the different things, Sacred Spiral Network, etc. So that's one of the things I'm working on. Also free, just sign up and you have an account and you have a place. I would love for you guys to sign up for these things and just play around and give me feedback. What's so cool about the vibe coding is, like, you can tell me, hey Mike, what about this? What if we would add this into the website? And the next day, that can be a part of the website just through vibe coding. So be a part of this evolving kind of thing with me. I would love for you guys to do that. So yeah, go to the page and sign up. Awesome. Michelle joined. I love it. How do I join? So highvibelovetribe.com is one. The other one is called myownessence.com. And again, I am open to suggestions. Oh, by the way, the My Own Essence one, you can suggest resources. If you go to one of these pages, you can see it says here at the bottom, there it is, have a voice that you like. You can suggest it to me and I can just add it. So if you have a resource that you think is missing, just tell me and I can just add it.
Brian Scott.
What's that? Brian Scott. Another resource. Awesome. Well, let's talk. Give me a list. I'll add them. I just love, again, I love that there are so many voices, right? I mean, there are so many voices that we can listen to, and take the ones that resonate with you, you know, like Elizabeth April. A lot of people don't resonate with her, but she says it. She's like, listen, I'm not here to convince you of anything, right? Like, what, you don't like Elizabeth April?
No, I actually enjoy her, but her attitude is just like mine. I'm not.
Yeah. I'm not here to convince you of anything. Like, I just want to share this stuff, and if it resonates with you, awesome. If it doesn't, awesome too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, no sweat off my back. You know what I mean? So that's it. That's the show for today, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you indulging me in my little self-promotion, but I think I gotta remember to do that. That's the way it's gonna
Use
grow.
it in the classroom.
What's that?
I hope that my laptop, my work laptop, will allow me to do API keys. I want to use it in the classroom.
That's amazing. So the Wonder Words, Alison is talking about actually showing Wonder Words to her students as a resource, and just a way to create something that they can look at and smile and be like, look what I did, look what I created. It's so great. It's so great. Miss Shelley said, I signed up but can't log back in. Let's get in touch with me. This is what I want to work out. You should be able to. I'll take a look at that. But anyway, wow, I think this was my longest outro ever. Holy moly.
I have a habit of doing that to people.
All good. Thank you again for showing up, and thank you guys for showing up as well. It was great to see you, and I will see you guys all soon. Peace.